Hi, I'm Jess,
And I'm Paige.
and we're the broadcast.
Babe.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jess,
I'm Paige.
and we're the broadcast babes.
Ooh, that has a nice little ring to it.
So, just to get right into it, let's talk about the name of our podcast. We chose Broadcast Babes based on the industry that we both work in, which is broadcasting. I do news, and Paige does sports. And we're going to talk a little bit about the industry, about motivational tips, about other industries, and just about like life in general. We're going to also learn about each other. But today's podcast is really focusing on getting to know us and how we got to where we are today. And I feel like, Paige, you should start because I actually don't know that much about how you got into sports broadcasting.
Right. Me and Jess are literally new friends. We've been friends for what? A month? Our friendiversary was a month ago.
Yeah.
So with my sports, I went into college. Literally, I wanted to be an anesthesiologist, which is like...
They make bank, though.
They do. They do. So I do think about that often, but I'm happy that I'm in sports. So I came into college, I was in undecided classes, and I was just like, ugh, this is so boring. And then I went to it was COVID, 2020 is the first year I went into college. Then I went to my first basketball game, and I was like, oh, this is for me. I was writing in the school newspaper. And then ever since then, I was just obsessed with sports. I was an athlete my whole life. When I went to college, I kind of lost my identity because I lost my sports. But then I found it again with sports media. And since then, I've been doing everything from journalism to now broadcasting on camera. And I really found that when I'm on camera, as you two feel, I feel so alive. It's like my second home. I love it. So I'm in love with it now.
That's awesome. And I have to ask because I am not into sports. I'll be completely honest. But were you always into sports? Even watching men's sports as well?
Yeah, my dad was a football coach. Mm-hmm. So for anyone that's seen Remember the Titans, I was literally the little girl from Remember the Titans. I was always on the bus cheering on the team. So from when I was 3, I loved football. That was my main sport. It still is today. And then I've always just loved the NBA, the MLB, baseball not as much, but the NFL. I just love sports in general. I love the stories behind sports more, though, than the stats and the performance. I love hearing these athletes' stories. They're so interesting. But yeah, I just love telling their stories and meeting new people, and it's just a great industry.
And that brings me to the writing part. I mean, were you always into writing as well? Because I know for me, I liked writing outside of journalism before I even got into journalism.
I'm still not a writer, and I know broadcasting is so about writing, but it took a long time for me to be good at it. I'm very, I don't want to say improper, but my writing style is very fluid and natural. It's not very precise. So I always struggled not with grammar, but really making it sound professional.
Journalism doesn't have a lot of fluff. It is really straightforward. So It is easier in that aspect.
It's easier to learn.
Yeah.
So once I took some classes in school, I started to figure out the right way to do it, and then I was like, oh, I can do this. But I like the on-camera stuff.
Yeah.
But you got to say the right things.
Yeah.
So it is all about writing.
My story, I have always loved writing, as I had just previously said. I grew up writing tons of poetry. I literally have books filled with poetry that I've written. And from that, I found an interest actually in politics and history. So I started to go in that direction with writing, and I started writing essays and stuff of that nature, and also doing some creative writing. And once I did that, I started to look for my passion and how I can fuse the two together as a career. And when I was applying for college, I applied to the University of Miami, and I remember going on YouTube, and I found this YouTube video of a student who double majored in exactly what I wanted to do, which was political science and broadcast journalism. So I went to UMiami and I started studying that, but I got kind of carried away in the partying aspect. Going to be completely honest about everything right now, especially to encourage viewers who are curious about news, how you can get into it, especially if you're a little bit later in life. So I got really lost, and I ended up actually taking a gap year because I started to feel like I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I kind of just had like mental health problems at the time. I was just super kind of depressed, to be honest. So I took like a year off. And then when COVID happened, I started to get back into it because during that time, politics were so crazy. It was such an interesting
Right.
time. I mean, as sad as a lot of the events that happened were, it was a super politically motivated time.
Definitely.
So I got back into it and I started taking online classes because everything was online at that point at University of Miami. And then I had some family issues. I had to end up transferring to University of Rhode Island, which is actually how I met Paige through
Rody.
internship with URI. We both intern at WPRI, Channel 12, and she does sports. I do news. And getting back into it and actually getting like the field experience and when you can actually be on camera, it kind of like reignited my fire. And yeah, ever since then, I've just been into it and ready to go.
Right. So talking about us meeting, literally, so we go into Channel 12 the first day, and we have a little orientation. There's like 6 of us, and as soon as I walk in, I see Jess, and I'm like, that girl's cool. Like I just know it. So I was like, okay, like I need to ask her to hang out. Like I have to figure out where she's from. She goes to URI. I'm like, perfect. Let's hang out. So then we go through the orientation. I leave. We don't talk for like weeks. I see her around. I'm like, oh, whatever. Then I see her posting. It's around Halloween.
Halloween is I'm going to say my era. Like legit my era though.
It's Jess's era. I looked on her TikTok when I met her too, and I just saw Halloween and Squishmallows, and I was like, who is this girl? So then I see her posting Halloween content and these decorations. I was like, oh, she's having a party. And I was like, I'm not invited, but I want to go. So I slide up on the story, and I'm like, hey, like, I love the decorations. Now I'm crossing my fingers. I'm like, please ask me to come. Please ask me to come. Then she asked me to come. I'm like, let's go.
I'm like always ready to invite someone though. Like I am so about like making new friends and connections as well. And I don't have like really any other I'm super blessed with my friend group. Like everyone's so artistic and creative, but I don't have anyone into broadcasting. So I was like, I need someone that I can relate to in this aspect and keep me motivated and grow with me. So I was so excited to become friends with Paige.
Oh my gosh, stop. No, I was so excited too. And then we met at the Halloween party. I knew nobody. I walked in, everyone's like, oh, that's Miss Rhode Island. That all these creative people. And I was like, where am I? Like it was like so done up. But ever since then, me and Jess have really been like inseparable.
Yeah.
Since then, I'm so grateful for our friendship, but we're still learning a lot about each other.
Yeah, and that's why it's so exciting to do this podcast because it's almost like we can interview each other and get to know each other in a different type of setting where we can also share information. And that was a huge motivation to do this podcast is going into this industry. And I think a lot of the entertainment industries, there aren't a lot of resources. Previously to doing my internship, outside of talking to the reporters themselves, there is no guidebook to how to become a reporter, or I'm sure the same with sports. And a lot of people, I'm not about gatekeeping. I want to share all the information, all the tips, everything. And I want to help other people get into the industry as well, because it is a dying industry. Yes. Reporters are underpaid and it's hard work and you have to move around a lot, and it takes a love of journalism, storytelling. And if you're in news, sports, you have to have a passion for whatever the topic is at hand.
Right. And I definitely want to talk about, just like Jess said in the beginning, we want to be super real and realistic. And the industry is not as glamorous sometimes as it looks. Sometimes you're carrying the camera, you're filming, you're writing, you're editing, you're doing everything on your own for pennies at the start. So me and Jess want to be really open and honest. We're not even broken into the industry yet. We're breaking in. So we think that's also a really cool perspective to have, because as we have this podcast, we're going to learn so many new things, meet so many new people. We're going to have guests on. Mm-hmm. So we're just super excited to get this started.
Yeah, we want to take you guys along the journey with applying to jobs, talking, the interview process, all that stuff that like in real time you don't really know until you do it. So I want to be a resource for other people that are curious about it, as well as interviewing people in other industries like entertainment, comedy, sports, so they can share how they broke into their individual industry as well and provide that information for people.
Right. That's definitely what we want to focus on. Because there's like the stereotypical, like my parents are teachers, there's like doctor, and there's all my friends are nursing majors, and their path is so clear. Like right after college, you get your job, you move forward. But ours, that's why we want to have guests on, because everyone has a different story, and it's like okay to do it your own way, and there's no one right way to do it. So it's the guests are also for us, like for us to hear how they did it and maybe use them as a resource too.
And I feel like I'm a testament to this because I'm 23. I'm actually graduating college late because of the gap year and COVID and the transfer. So it's not too late. I mean, I think, she's graduating early and I'm graduating late.
Right.
And, we bonded, and I think we can both share our perspective as well.
Right. We're very different. We have different
Sorry, my dog.
Oh, that's you.
My dog's sneezing. Did she throw up?
I think so.
Buffy?
Okay, but yeah, you're going to see Buffy, and by the way, every single episode because she is our mascot.
Yes.
Buffy will be
Buffy is an extension of me, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But we're super different, like we were saying, different college paths, different kind of same industry, but different paths down the industry, and different ages, different backgrounds. We're very different, so we can offer up some pretty different perspectives.
Yeah. Sorry, do you have something else to say? I was going to go into our listener questions of the week. We're going to do listener questions every week based on the topic. You can find that on our Instagram stories where we post asking for listener questions and trying to get some information from all you guys, what you want to hear, what you want to learn, what you want to know. So
right. So we both post on our Instagram, like we said. First question is our dream job. Do you want to start?
It's hard to say exactly my dream job. I love storytelling and I love news. So I really just want to work in political commentary, whether that's in New York or DC, something like that, in a market where there's a lot going on and there's a lot to be involved in. But yeah, what about you?
My dream job, it changes literally every week, and I feel like that's also something very normal with the industry. It changes all the time. I want to be the next Erin Andrews. I don't like saying that. For those of you who don't know who Erin Andrews is, she's a big football sideline reporter. So my dream job would be to be the main sideline reporter for a big company, CBS, Fox Sports. Fox Sports, I think, changed like a different name, but just a sideline reporter. And my dream is to be able to do basketball and football. I know Lisa Salters has done it, a few other people, but I want to be one of the best. So that's the dream. Dream job. Another question. What has been your favorite part so far about working in media?
I like the news aspect, as in you're not going to ever know what you're going to do. So it's not like a normal 9 to 5. You never know where you're going to end up. You never know what story you're going to tell. You never know when it's going to change. With that being said, I also love being on camera, as we talked about. I'm sure if you follow me on social media, you know I've never in my life been camera shy. I like posting videos of myself and just I like the presence on and off the screen, being able to write it and being able to show it as well.
Right. Mine's very similar. I am terrified of having a 9 to 5. That's like my biggest fear. I want to be able to have some creative freedom and freedom of my schedule, even though it might be a rocky schedule. I don't want the same thing every single day. That terrifies me. But my favorite part so far is just the competitiveness of it. Just it's such a competitive industry. You're always trying to improve and be better. And when I was an athlete, I was always competitive and I could see my results. I would go to the gym, I would work out, and then on the field, I'd play better. And then when I lost that, when I went to college, I was like, I want to be competitive again. And this industry really allows you to put in the work, and then most times you'll get out what you put in.
Yeah, I love that. The competitive aspect. Me too. I mean, I've always been competitive, whether that be with school or sports. I did cheerleading, but competitive cheerleading.
Yep.
Don't knock it.
We can have that discussion on a future episode.
Yeah.
Cheerleading, sport or no?
It is a sport.
It is a sport.
We can throw hands. It's fine. No, but
competitive cheerleading. After watching Cheer.
Oh, that documentary was good.
Did you watch both?
I didn't watch the second season. I haven't seen it yet.
Watch that.
I know.
It was so good.
But yeah, the competitive, it really keeps you driven because it is such a tiring and tiring industry where you need something to keep you going.
Right. And it's also an industry like you can't just sit back and wait for things to come to you. Like you have to be competitive to be in this industry. And I just love that everyone around me, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by like-minded people who just want to be successful, and it makes you better.
And that's a huge thing is surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like and who are in places that you want to be.
And I want you to succeed.
Yes.
That's a big
And
one.
that's a huge, we'll talk about that in another podcast because that's a
whole
whole
nother
episode
discussion.
is just like women supporting women as well as in general, like, I don't know. People
Just go off.
People in the industry,
Go off.
they, like I said, they gatekeep, and a lot of people don't want you to succeed. But maybe I used to be like that when I was in like middle school. But me as a grown adult woman, I want to support other women and I want to support other people in the industry, and I want everyone around me to succeed because there's plenty of room at the top. And of course, I want to bring my friends with me wherever I go.
Right. My boss said one time, what was it? Let me think. The sky shines brighter with more stars. And that quote really made me, there's enough space in this industry for everyone. Mm-hmm. So just be competitive with yourself. Make sure you're the best and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's my advice. All right. Next question is my favorite question, and it's, what is our why? So I was on a podcast one time and they asked me this, and my why for being in this industry is, okay, there's a few things. I think that there's an unlimited cap in this industry. Like, you can be as successful as you want to be, or you could be like really, like we said, underpaid, overworked. But my why for wanting to get to the top is I want to retire my parents and buy them a lake house. So that's my first why. And I want to be in this industry because my grandfather, he always called me Hollywood. And like ever since then, I was like, I'm going to be a star on camera. And I love the feeling of just like being in front of a camera. I just like feel like it's like meant to be, like it's like natural to me. So my why is just because I love it, and it makes me like so happy to be in front of the camera. And you know when like you just feel like you're in the right place. Mm-hmm. When I'm doing this stuff with my sports, when I'm on the sideline, I just feel like it's right, and it's just like this is what I'm meant to do. That's my why.
All I could think of when you said the star part is from Pearl when she's screaming, "I'm a star." We need to
Pearl
cut that in there.
What?
The movie Pearl. Oh, it was so good. You have to watch it.
I don't even know what that is.
Paige doesn't know what anything is. I'm just gonna.
I need a jar.
Out. She needs a jar because she literally everything I say, she's like, "What's that? What's that?"
I'm trying to think of an example that I said.
I could be like, honestly, I know you just ate at Chili's, but I could be like, "Let's go to Chili's." She'll be like, "What's Chili's?"
Oh my
Pepper?
God. Pepper? No, yeah, we're gonna come. Next time you see this podcast, there's going to be a jar right here, and it's going to be filled to the brim with pennies.
That is, yeah, every time she doesn't know what something is.
Pearl.
My why, because I'm into, like, the political aspect, and down the line, that's what I want to get into. I think news is a great resource to educate people, and I really have a passion for non-biased, straightforward news. So that's what I want to achieve someday, is to educate the people that are watching and keep them in the know of what's going on in the world, because it is important to know what's going on. It's important to know history. It's important to know the truth. And I love the truth in storytelling.
That's something I envy about you, actually, is because with my sports, at the end of the day, it is just a game. Win or lose, whatever I do, it will just be fun. But with you, like, you could actually like change the world.
Yeah, but you're feeling people's passions, and most of the time news is the delivery of unfortunate events.
We're hyping each other up right now.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to change that, I think. News can be fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
Your years at URI.
I literally transferred for 1 year. I have nothing interesting to say about URI. I go to class, which half of mine were online, and I go home, and I've literally 1 year at URI.
What's your favorite class, Jess?
I mean, I take because I transferred, I'm literally doing
theater.
Yeah, like elective classes. Like I took theater 100 and I'm in class with like 18-year-old kids. So
yeah, I told Jess I would like pay to see her be in that class.
It's fun. Monologue. I like it.
I should have taken it.
Yeah, I mean we've done like a monologue and like plays with each other, and that's like it.
Yeah, I've been at URI for 3 years. I'm just trying to think of my best moment. I didn't want to go to URI at all because you're from Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. Right. We're both from Rhode Island.
See, we just met. She doesn't know Jack.
I didn't know. Oop. I'm from East Providence, so I literally was like, my parents went to URI, my sister went to URI, and I was just like, no, like, please, God. And then I was going to go to Penn State. I filled all my papers out, and then COVID happened, and Penn State was like $50,000 a year, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get sent home for $50,000. So I had to go to URI, whatever, and then I fell in love with it. So my favorite part of URI is just the opportunity aspect, because URI is a sports school and it's like good enough, but it's not like SEC, ACC.
Mhm.
It's not a huge school. So as soon as my freshman year, they threw me on camera right away. So I got so many opportunities. So that's my favorite part of URI.
Any other questions we have?
Those are all of them. We're gonna get more questions as time goes on.
Yeah. So I think we want to end every podcast with positive affirmations. Do you have any?
You go first.
I mean,
I'm a magnet.
okay, so just so everyone knows, I am in my magnetic era. I've been
Gosh.
saying this because I don't chase, I attract. Whatever is meant to be mine will simply be mine.
I like that one. Can I
Yeah.
just repeat yours?
No, you gotta say your
Oh,
own.
Gosh.
We believe in the law of attraction and the power of positive thinking.
We do.
Shout out Norman Vincent Peale.
Affirmations.
What else did I say?
You say a lot of things.
I
So we have a group chat with me, Jess, and our producer, and all of a sudden I just looked down at my phone and there's like 10 affirmations, like just back to back, and I was like, Jess is on Pinterest or something.
I was in my magnetic era, Paige.
Oh my gosh, I'm in my brain fart era. I can't think of anything. I'm
I
just
think-
like such a affirmation freak.
Look one up while I talk
it out,
my
talk it
stuff
out.
right now. I just want to say, any industry you're in, it's important to be positive, and I think whatever you want, you can have. You just need to speak it into existence as well as act on it. Affirmations and manifestation, they don't work unless you are actively pursuing what you want. So it's the power of keeping your mind and your body healthy and setting yourself in motion to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve.
That was great. All right, my affirmation is, you are loved just for being who you are, just for existing.
Facts, bro.
Isn't that a good one?
That is good.
I have one more. This one's kind of about being present. We'll talk about this one time.
I struggle to be present. Bad.
Jess, I
Me.
struggle to be present.
I'm living in the summer of 2016 still. So.
Oh my gosh. No, but we will definitely go over an episode about this, but conscious breathing is my anchor. And deep breathing, meditation, all of that literally has changed my life.
I live for yoga. I'm just going to say it's a really powerful tool for your mind and your body, which is a double whammy.
Yeah, broadcast babes, go to yoga. Next episode.
All right. So to wrap up, make sure everyone is following our social media. My Instagram is at Jess Costantino.
Mine is at Paige Messier TV.
And our podcast Instagram is at Broadcast Babes Pod. And from that, you'll be able to click the link in our bios and find all of our information. And if you're listening to this on any podcast platform, it will be in the description as well and on the YouTube description as well.
Perfect. Thanks for listening.
And shout out to our producer, Gianni Verducci. We just want to say we love him and we are so thankful to have him on board.
Let me just say, Gianni has literally carried us. Like, he's so talented. He made our logo in like 5 minutes.
He really is so talented.
So talented.
Like, in every form, we could not do this without him.
He'll be on a pod. He's over there wiping his eyes.
We're going to have him on because he's just the best.
Yeah, we got to think of a little closing little goodbye.
I'm Jess.
I'm Paige.
And we are the Broadcast
Babes.